Hello, my name's Willow and I'm 29 years old. I've been married to my husband Andy for the past 5 years. We met when we were in our freshman year in college. We hit it off really well and we began dating almost immediately after we met each other. Andy is quite literally the most perfect man. He cares for me in a manner that no one else has, and we have this deep connection that I don't think I'll ever be able to have with anyone else other than him. We got married almost immediately after we graduated. We knew that it was only going to be each other for the rest of our lives. Our wedding was truly something magical. It was pretty small, but it only included the most important people in our lives. Of them were our mothers, Jane, my mother, and Mona, Andy's mother. Both of us came from single mother households. Andy's father passed away when he was young, and Mona never found it in herself to be with another man. So growing up, it was always only Andy and his mother, Mona. They were a complete family together, which was probably why Mona was so defensive and overprotective of Andy. When I first met her, she treated me like absolute trash. She was convinced that I was trying to take her son away from her. It took almost a year of Andy and I talking to her to convince her that I had none of these intentions in mind. Even after that, she'd been very wary of me and barely ever interacted with me. I was just glad that she never created any drama at the wedding, because the woman had no shame when it came to being protective of Andy. As for my mother, Jane, she was a single mother because my dad just got up and left us one day. He apparently couldn't take the pressure of being a father. My mom and I had a very close relationship as a result, but my mom was nothing like Mona, something that Andy had subconsciously really liked. The two of them got along really well when they first met, so much so that sometimes I'd come back home to Andy on the phone with my mom for absolutely no reason. My mom considered him as her own son, and she never failed to tell me how lucky I was to find someone like Andy. After we got married, my son realized that we never had a formal family get-together. So she invited Mona, Andy, and me to her beach house that was just a 4-hour drive away from town. We were going to stay there for a week. Andy and I were very excited about the trip. Mona, on the other hand, was a little standoffish about the whole thing. I was kind of worried about how Mona would react to Andy and my mom's relationship, because she had a track record of being jealous for no reason. But as the day of the trip to my mother drew nearer, I slowly forgot about all my worries. I was just excited to spend time with my mom and about spending time on the beach. The entire drive over to my mom's, Mona was entirely silent. She barely spoke to either Andy or me, no matter how hard we tried to engage her in conversation. We eventually did let it go and tried to make the best of the long drive. We finally arrived at my mom's place in the afternoon, just in time for lunch. My mom greeted us at the door. "Hi, Jane, how's everything going?" "Oh, everything's great, sweetie. How was the drive over?" "It was good." "Sure, but it was really long, although I must say, you have a beautiful house, Jane." "Oh, thanks. I hope it'll be comfortable enough for the three of you." "Oh, I'm sure it will." "Great. Are you guys tired? Because I hope you aren't too tired for some food." "Oh, God, no. We're starving." "Good. I made you some lovely lunch. Andy, do you mind helping me set the table while Willow helps Mona settle in?" "Yes, of course." Mona looked at my mom and Andy with a big scowl on her face. She stared at them as both of them retreated to the kitchen. My mom must have said something funny, because Andy burst into laughter, and that only made Mona scowl even more. I snapped her out of her mood and asked her if she was ready to go to her room. She looked startled but nodded her head at me, and we moved upstairs. I set her luggage down while Mona took her time inspecting the room. I quickly checked that Mona had all the essentials she needed in the washroom and the room. When I was sure she did, I went back to her to tell her what was where. Mona barely paid attention to what I was saying. As much as I wanted to leave her be, I also didn't want to cause a ruckus by not asking her what was wrong. So I asked her what was wrong. She didn't reply, and I went on to tell her that I was always going to be a listening ear for her. If she needed to talk, I was going to listen no matter what. I told her that she was being different, and I just wanted to know what was going through her mind, so I could see what I could do to ease her worries. After another moment of silence, Mona finally spoke up. "Who does Jane think she is?" "Excuse me?" "Did you see the way Andy treats her?" He treats her nicely, like he does with everyone he knows." "Yeah, sure. But I mean, he's treating her the same way he treats me, like she's his mother." "Well, I mean, she's my mom and his mother-in-law. I guess that was bound to happen, right?" "Absolutely not. There should be some distinction between how he treats me and her." "I think you're overtired and overthinking this, Mona." "No, I'm not. She's even treating him like he's her son. Why would she make him do work?" "Mom just divided the responsibilities between the both of us, that's it. Besides, this is how it's always been whenever we come over." "And Andy had no issue with this?" "Why would he? He loves my mom and loves spending time with her. Apparently, he loves her enough to think of her as his mother." "Mona, you need to stop this. He's not replacing you in any way." "I highly doubt that. I'm sure that your mother wanted a son and instead she got you. So now she's making up for that by trying to steal my son." "Excuse me? Are you trying to say that my mother regrets having me?" "Oh, come on, Willow. You know that it's every mother's dream to have a son. Daughters are more of a dad thing." "Well, I can assure you that my mom has never regretted having me for a child just because I'm a girl. You need to stop projecting your beliefs onto her. I don't understand your jealousy, but I do want you to just rest here till lunch is served. I will prove to you that she's trying to steal Andy. Just watch." I was genuinely appalled by how Mona's mind worked. I knew she was prone to jealousy, but to actually tell me that I was a regret for my mother was where I drew the line. Andy was a grown adult who was capable of making his own decisions. That was something that Mona was supposed to understand, but could not do it for the life of her. I left the room with an unspeakable amount of rage. I wanted to tell Andy about everything that his mother said, but right as I reached the ground floor, I heard my mom and Andy laughing. I didn't want to ruin that fun and happiness. So I swallowed down my anger and decided to wait until I saw some questionable behavior from Mona. I decided that I would watch her like a hawk and try to make sure that Mona and my mom didn't have too much contact. So that's exactly what I did for the rest of the week. I watched Mona and all her interactions closely. There were moments when Mona would purposefully grab things out of my mom's hands just so she could be the one to give Andy the thing that my mom was going to give him. Other than those minor kinds of instances, Mona didn't really do anything else. Of course, I also made sure that I enjoyed myself to the best of my ability. I couldn't have either Mom or Andy catching on to my worries. It would ruin the trip. We made great use of our time near the beach. It was the perfect warm weather, and it was the perfect way to spend time with our family. When the time came to leave, I was really upset. But we left there knowing that we could always come by whenever we wanted to and have a good time with my mom. My mom was overjoyed at the idea of us going back there again soon. While we were loading our things into the trunk of the car, Mona and my mom had a conversation. I wasn't present there for that conversation, but this was how it went, according to my mom. "We need to talk." "Yes, what is it?" "Why are you trying to steal my son from me?" "Excuse me? What?" "I see the way that you're treating him. I know you're trying to steal him." "What are you talking about? He's my son-in-law. So of course I'm going to treat him like my son. That doesn't mean that I'm trying to steal him from you." "That's a lie. You have some audacity to lie to my face." "Look, I don't know where you got this mentality from, but I can assure you that I'm not stealing Andy. First of all, because he's his own person that's capable of making his own decisions. Secondly, he treats my daughter well and makes her happy, so I treat him well. You can cut the act now. From mother to mother, I understand how the desire to have a son is really big. But you need to understand that Andy is my son, not yours. I have no idea what you're talking about, because I am perfectly happy with the daughter I have. Clearly, you're going to keep acting like you don't understand what I'm saying, but I will tell you that if I actually catch you trying to steal Andy from me ever again, I will make your life miserable. Mona, I mean this in the nicest way possible, but you need to stop being insecure that Andy's trying to replace you. He's a good man and you've raised him right. Be proud of that and satisfied knowing that he's living a good life. I'm happy that he is who he is today, but that will never mean that I'll just give up on him being my son. You don't know the kind of bond we have. It's disgusting that you think that you can form that same kind of bond with him. I really don't think I could, even if I wanted to, which I don't. Please don't think that way. I promise you that I'm simply treating him the way I would any family member. Let me be the judge of that. My mom told me about this conversation about a week after we had come back from her place, over the phone. I was shocked to hear what Mona had said. I asked my mom what even prompted her to tell me then, and she told me that she had liked and commented on Andy's Facebook post about the trip that we had to her house. After that, Mona texted her on Facebook and asked her to unlike Andy's post and delete the comment because she was disgusted at how obvious my mom was with her attempt to steal Andy from her. I asked my mom if she felt threatened in any way, and my mom assured me that she didn't. She just thought that it would be best for us to know because she was beginning to get worried about Mona and her mental health. That was when I told my mom about my whole issue with Mona. My mom was very sympathetic about everything I went through, but she was very happy that throughout it all, Andy stood up for me. My mom and I stayed on that call for about an hour before I finally came back to bed. Andy looked concerned and worried, and I briefly considered whether it would be right to tell him about what Mona had been doing. But when he asked me what was wrong, I knew that I could not, in good conscience, lie to him about it. Why did Jane call? Is everything all right? She's fine, but apparently before we left that day, my mom and your mom had a pretty heated conversation. What? About what? Why is Jane telling you about it now? My mom didn't think it was her place to say anything until your mom sent her a message today regarding their conversation. What did they talk about that was so bad? Weren't they getting along pretty okay? Apparently not. Your mom thinks that my mom is trying to steal you away from her because of how well you get along with my mom. What? That's so absurd. Why in the world would she think that? Apparently my mother treats you like a son and she hates that. But I am her son-in-law. Why wouldn't she treat me that way? That's what my mom said. But Mona wasn't listening to a word. What did my mom message Jane? My mom liked one of your posts on Facebook and Mona texted her and told her to back off and unfollow you. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't even know that my mom was capable of being this way. You have nothing to apologize for. Besides, I didn't think she'd actually act on her jealousy. What do you mean? On the day we got to my mom's place when I was helping Mona settle into her room, she told me about her jealousy. I just thought that she was really tired and overthinking things. I didn't think that she'd continue to feel that way. Why didn't you tell me about it? Because I didn't think it was going to be a big thing. I'm sorry. Besides, I didn't want to ruin the mood. You wouldn't have. You could have prevented this event. I don't think I could have. I tried talking her out of it and she refused to listen. In fact, she told me that she would prove to me that my mom was trying to steal you. I'm going to have a word with her. Don't be too harsh. She probably just needs some reassurance. I'll be gentle as long as she doesn't say something super messed up. I don't really know what Andy talked to Mona about, but I do know that they had a very long and heated conversation. Andy did tell me that Mona did not seem happy at all. Apparently there were a lot of tears and yelling on her end, while Andy tried his best to calm her down and spoke to her calmly. I was worried about how she felt, but I didn't think it was exactly my place to interfere. The following weekend, Andy and I decided to go back to my mom's for the weekend. Andy happened to mention it to his mom in passing the day before she left, and she told him that she would swing by because she was going to meet a friend in that town. Of course, we were apprehensive about it, but she told us that she only wanted to drop off something as an apology for her behavior. Andy and I were honestly surprised that she changed her behavior so fast, but we appreciated it. She showed up at my mom's house about an hour after we arrived. She dropped off a box of cookies and apologized to my mom. She did mention that the cookies were only for my mom and told us to stay away from them. We just thought that she was being a bit possessive and trying to overcompensate for her mistake, so we didn't take the warning too seriously. We should have, because at tea time, Andy happened to take a bite of the biscuit along with his tea. Within minutes, his throat was closing up and he was turning red in the face. I was scared beyond words. Thankfully, my mom had an EpiPen with her. She administered it to him and he began to recover, but we still rushed him to the hospital. Since Mona was in town, I thought it would be appropriate to have her come down to the hospital too. She showed up crying. "Oh my God, what happened?" "Nothing big, don't worry. He just had a severe allergic reaction. Thankfully, my mom had an EpiPen and we were able to reduce its effects before it could get so severe." "What did he eat? He's allergic to soy." "Yes, Mona, I know. But as far as I know, he didn't eat any soy." "Tell me, did he eat the cookies I gave your mother?" "Yes." "You dolt! Why did you let him eat the cookie?" "Huh? Why?" "The cookies contain soy in them." "What? Why would they contain soy? My mother's allergic too." "That's exactly what I wanted. I wanted her to suffer for making me suffer so much." "What the hell is wrong with you? Do you even know how humiliating it is to have your own son speak to you as if you were some disgusting person? Sure, that's rough, but that does not give you any right to try to poison my mother. You know what? You need to leave." "But I want to see my son." "You leave now, or I'll tell him what you did and he'll have you thrown out. This isn't over yet." I was beyond shocked and disgusted with Mona's actions. I couldn't believe that she was actually trying to hurt my mother over something that she had only imagined in her head and made herself feel insecure about. This time, I didn't think it was right to hide this from Andy, so as soon as he was feeling better after being discharged, I told him about it. Needless to say, he was furious. He invited Mona over to our place to talk. When she showed up, she looked like she was super worried. "Sweetie, are you okay?" "Cut it out, Mom. I know what you did." "Oh, honey, I only did it to protect you." "From whom, Jane? If anything, she's been the one that's motherly and caring towards me the past few days. You didn't even try to call me." "Yes, because I wanted to see you in person." "I don't care. What you did was vile and disgusting. How could you possibly try to do something like that to Jane?" "She was stealing you from me. That was a lesson she needed to learn. Look at the way you were beginning to speak to me, as if I was no one special to you." "Have I done something to you to make you feel as if I don't care about you, or that you're easily replaceable, other than talking to my mother-in-law in a nice manner?" "No, but you talking to Jane is more than enough to show me that you're slowly leaving me." "Mom, that would never happen. Willow and Jane told you to drop it and not think about it like that." "What do you mean by would have never happened?" "I'm cutting contact with you. I cannot bear to even look at you right now." "What? No, please. Those cookies were not meant for you. You can't be mad at me for it. Those cookies were not meant for me, but they were meant for someone else with my same condition. That told me all that I needed to know about you. Andy, please, I promise I'll be better. You can't leave me. You did this to yourself. You put someone else's life in danger just because you felt so jealous that you couldn't think rationally. I was thinking with a very clear head. I just wanted you to come back to me. You are my mother. Why would I have left you? Shouldn't you know that you're irreplaceable? It didn't feel like it. Right. And instead of communicating it with me, you chose to poison Jane. Yes, if that was how I needed to resolve the problem faster, then there was nothing else for me to do. If I sat down to talk to you about it, you would have taken too long to work on it. Giving her those cookies meant that she would feel threatened enough to leave you alone. You are incorrigible, and you disgust me. I need you to get out of my house now. But Andy, out! I was honestly so glad that Andy was putting Mona in her place. I couldn't imagine it would have been easy for him to do, but I was glad that he was doing the right thing. I couldn't believe how much Mona considered what happened to not be her fault. It was crazy to see her not even understand how she could have not only killed my mother, but her own son as well. After that, Mona kept trying to text and call us, but we blocked her and removed her from all our social media accounts. Mona tried to get the rest of Andy's family involved. We got hundreds of calls and texts telling us that we were cruel people for shunning Mona that way. So Andy painstakingly explained to each and every one that called and texted what Mona had actually done. After that, word spread quickly and Mona got shunned by the rest of her family. I don't really know what Mona's up to right now. My mom and I sometimes do remember her and laugh a little to ourselves because of how ridiculous she had been. Andy and I also have a laugh at it, although I do know that deep down inside he misses his mother. He's in therapy to deal with everything, and he's slowly coming out of it and growing. I'm so grateful for everyone in my life, and it would have been tragic if something happened to either Andy or my mom. I'm glad everything worked out in the right manner. Thank you for listening to me.